you, Mr. President. I appreciate the passion. I think that we all have a lot of passion and a lot of concerns, and we do want to protect the most vulnerable. I would like to just remind everyone that the idea of social vulnerability, this is not a new concept. Maybe some people are learning about it now, but actually this is something that the government has been using since the 70s in terms of making sure that every single one of our community members gets the access to disaster relief. That's the first time that they started to use this term social vulnerability to make sure that when we're responding to a natural disaster, that we're protecting every single one of us. To respond to the comment about social engineering, the fact of the matter is we've already been doing a lot of social engineering in our country because we haven't dealt with systemic racism or systemic sexism or any of these things. So I think when you talk about social engineering, we have the duty as public servants to make sure we're addressing the inequities that exist because of policies that bodies like this have failed to address. So social engineering, I feel like we really need to sort of repeat some history lessons here if we're going to talk about social engineering. I also want to point out, while I have a little bit of time here, is that out of the top 5 counties with the highest poverty rates in Michigan, 4 of them are actually your counties: Isabella, Lake, Luce, and Clare. And as far as Michigan counties that have the highest percentage of Alice households, all 5 of them are actually in Republican districts: Baraga, Alger, Luce, Montmorency, Lake County. So when we talk about the most vulnerable, you need to think about the most vulnerable in your districts too. So just because you have concerns about race, because you have concerns about language ability, don't let that cloud the ability for you to serve your own residents. I'm really disappointed in this conversation that we're having today because I feel like we have to do better. The fact that people don't understand or can't take the time to learn about history, and the fact that we have the duty to ensure that because of the inequities that exist, we have to do better. We have to do better. We have to make sure that every single one of the most vulnerable are served with vaccination. We cannot let people die simply because we're failing to address inequities. Thank you. I'd like my remarks printed in the journal.